Hi all. Let's do some more C++. We're going to do number 13. It's mainly talking about arrays. Let's get into this and I'll show you what it does first and then we'll go over one. So we'll start up the DOS prompt. CD to C colon. CD into CPP. CD into number 13. CD into the first program. Run the compiler. Run the application. And it's a simple printout. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5. Okay, so what's this do? Here, I'll grab a shortcut. So we're working on number 1. Now number 1 really isn't an array, but I just want to show you where I'm coming from here. Sometimes we have a lot of things to store. So like here we have 5 integers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5 printouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know. Well, that's fine with 5, but what if you have 100 or 1,000, you know? That's where an array would be used. You can store all these items under one area. Okay, so let's CD back a folder. We'll CD into O2. Run the compiler. Run the program. Okay, let's check out the code. Okay, so what it does is it prints out element 0 is 60. Element 1 is 70. Element 2 is 80. Element 3 is 90. Element 4 is 100. Okay, so we do that with an array. This is the array. It's actually this guy here. So we're making an array of integers named grades. Okay, so this is just like creating any integer. The integer grades, that would store one variable. But if we put brackets here and put a number there, now we're saying we can store 5 items here, 5 integers. Okay, so if we have 5 integers stored under grades, how would we access them? So we have 5 different spots, all under the same name. Well, what we do is use the element spot. You know, grades for 0 is 60. Grades for 1 is 70. Grades for 2 is 80. Grades for 3 is 90. Grades for 4 is 100. Now you might be saying, hey, wait a minute. We got 5 spots, right? Well, computers start at 0. So that's why the first spot is 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. we still have 5 spots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we're starting at 0. I have a picture here that might make it make more sense. So our array name is grades. We're storing 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Grades first spot 0 stores the 60. Grades in the second spot stores the 70. Grades in the third spot stores the 80. Grades in the fourth spot stores 90. Grades in the fifth spot stores 100. It's kind of confusing starting at 0, but I wouldn't worry about it. Over a period of time, you get used to thinking about things in different ways. So. Okay, so then to print them out, you use the same type of technique. So it's grades for 0. Grades for 0 is 60. So it prints out element 0 is 60. The first element is named 0. Element 0 is in the first spot. Prints out 60. Element 2 in the second spot is 70. Prints out 70. The third element prints out 80. The fourth element prints out 90. The fifth element prints out 100. Okay, so if I'm losing you there, don't worry about it. This is one of those things that it takes a little time to grasp the concept, but I think if you just take a look at this picture for a while, it might help it make sense. So. Okay, let's do the next one. CD into O3. Run the compiler. Run the program. And we're getting the same printout, right? We're printing these out with a for loop. That's real common with arrays, is to use a for loop to print them out. Instead of printing them like this, we got 5 different printouts. What we can do is just print them all like this and use a for loop to run through the array. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick through this. We just went through for loops in the last video, so hopefully you played around with those and kind of understand them. We create an integer I. We use that to run through the for loop here. We create an array to hold 5 items. Store 5 items. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then we run through the array here. Okay, so just to run through this again, a for loop has 3 spots. Up here we created an integer I. Down here we set integer I to 0. Okay, so just to run through this, a for loop has 3 items. Up here we created I, and then down here we set I to 0. Now we set I to 0 because we want to grab this guy here. Okay, so then we say, is I less than or equal to 4? Yes, it's 0. So it does the for loop. So it says element I, so the I is going to print out the 0. That's how we get element 0. Is, prints out the is, and then it says grades for I. This I is 0. So it grabs grades for 0, and prints out the 60. Okay, so that's just a bit tricky. We'll run through it again. Okay, so a for loop. This starts the for loop, this ends the for loop. We have one line inside of our for loop. The for loop has 3 sections. So here we set I to 0. Previous video we set I to 1, right? But now we want to set it to 0 because we want to use it to grab this guy here. And then we say, is I less than or equal to 4? Yes, I is 0. So it does this line. It prints out element, then it grabs I, which is 0. We just set I to 0 here. So it prints the 0. Then it prints the is, and then it prints grades for I. I is 0. So it grabs the 60 and prints out the 60. Then it comes over here, bumps I up 1. Now I is equal to 1. So it says, is I less than or equal to 4? Yes, I is 1. So it does this, the C out again. It prints out I. I is a 1. So it prints out element 1 is, there's the is, grades for I. I is 1. I is 1. So it grabs grades 1 and prints the 70. Then it bumps I up 1, bumps it up to 2, and then it says, is I less than or equal to 4? Yes, it is 2. So it does the C out again, prints out element 2 is grades for I. I is 2, so it grabs grades for 2 is 80. That's how we get the 80. Then it bumps I up to 3. So now we are working on this guy. Prints out element I. I is 3, so it prints out element 3 is, and grades for 3 is 90. That's how we get the 90. Then it bumps I up. Now we're working on 4. Is I less than or equal to 4? Yes, it's 4. So it does the C out again. Element I, the I is 4, so it prints out element 4. Prints out the is. And then grades for I is 4. So it grabs this guy here and prints out the 100. Bumps I up to 5. Does the check. Is I less than or equal to 4? No, it's 5. So it kicks it out of the for loop and finishes the program. Okay, so there's nothing easy about that at all. That's a tough one. So that's something that you might want to spend some time with. That may take a good week or so to get. Don't really try to memorize it, but just try to understand it. Okay, let's do number 4. We'll CD into 04. Run the compiler. Run the program. And let's check out the code. So it basically does the same thing as the previous one. Instead of creating an array like this with the brackets 5, we just do it like this. We leave the brackets empty, and then we determine the size of the array just by the numbers inside here. There's 5 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it becomes 5 items. And then the for loop works exactly the same. I didn't really want to show you this right away, but I thought maybe if you were flipping through books, you might see they're doing arrays in different ways. There's all different types of variations on this array stuff, and it can really get confusing. So don't really let it worry you for now. I just wanted you to see the general idea of that you can store multiple items under one name and use this index number. This is the index. Index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, element 5. Okay, and I think we'll save these 3 for the next video. These 2 get kind of difficult, so we'll do those next time. Okay, see ya. Bye.